The combine is over. The stopwatches have gone back into their little velvet pouches. The clipboards are closed, and the internet has begun its annual tradition of acting like a three-cone drill is a moral evaluation.
Somewhere right now, a grown man is typing, if you run a 4.6, you should be forced to play guard.
The combine brings out a special kind of confidence. It's loud, it's wrong, it's also kind of beautiful in a cautionary tale way.
Today, we're doing the version of the combine recap that doesn't rot your brain.
The grown-up version.
The film is the foundation version.
The stop treating the 40 like a horoscope version.
We're going to break down what actually mattered from each workout day. Linebackers and defensive line, tight ends and defensive backs, quarterbacks and skill guys, and then the offensive line closing the week.
And we're leaving one final segment at the end. That's the Monday, Tuesday Aftershocks, medical follow-ups, meeting buzz, and any quiet board movement that hit late after the combine closed. You're listening to the AAA Ball and Play podcast. Quick note, this is for education and entertainment. Nothing here is legal, tax, or financial advice, and nothing we say creates an athlete-agent relationship. Listening or contacting us does not make us your lawyers or your agents. For advice, talk to a qualified professional in your state.
Welcome back to the AAA Ball and Play podcast. I'm Michael, agent, former athlete, and the designated adult in the room.
That implies I'm a kid. Okay. And I'm Lee, attorney, agent, and the person who sees the combine and immediately starts talking about underwriting and evidence.
And really quick, this is sports commentary, not legal advice, and we are not creating an attorney-client relationship through the magic of your AirPods.
Unless you're hiring us, then yes, we love paperwork. Let's go. Now that the combine is over, it's easier to say the quiet part out loud. The combine isn't football.
Combine is standardized data collection.
Exactly. It's the NFL staging a controlled experiment. Same building, same turf, same drill menu, same measurement protocols. Then the league watches how the draft market reacts to the new information.
And the information isn't just workouts. It's medicals, interviews, cognition testing, the off-field stuff that fans don't see, but teams absolutely treat like dispositive evidence.
A lot of people forget the combine actually starts a week before the workouts. There are media days, meetings, interviews with coaches and GMs, the whole ecosystem. Then the televised on-field workouts run Thursday through Sunday, and that was this past week.
The on-field schedule is clean. Thursday was defensive line and linebackers. Friday was tight ends and defensive backs. Saturday was quarterbacks, wideouts, and running backs. And Sunday closed with offensive linemen.
Now, we said this before on a fast break we had 2 weeks ago, I think, but the NFL invited 319 prospects this year, which means this is a massive sample, if you want to look at it this way, of future employees in a very compressed evaluation environment.
Which is why your framing underwriting makes sense. Teams are pricing risk.
Yep. So here's the framework that I think saves your brain. Film is the foundation. The combine is the new evidence.
The tape is your baseline belief. The combine either confirms it, clarifies it, or introduces a new question.
Exactly. And the combine isn't the verdict, but it is, to put it in legal terms, it is the deposition.
So let's litigate this like attorneys. What's the standard of review?
Well, the standard of review is respect the record. Tape is the record. The combine is supplemental evidence.
And that means the combine is most powerful when it answers a question you already had from film.
Right. If the tape question is, does he have NFL burst, but he tests like a rocket, then your confidence is going to go up.
And if the tape question is, does he have enough speed to survive in space, and he looks a little sluggish, then your confidence goes down.
What the combine should do is what the combine should not do is create a brand new evaluation out of thin air.
And that's how you end up with, he jumped high, therefore he's good in zone coverage.
Right? So also leaderboard thinking is a trap. The NFL doesn't draft medals. The NFL drafts roles.
Which means teams care about thresholds. Fast enough, explosive enough, fluid enough. And they do that more than best time wins.
Yes. So now we're going to go day by day because this combine gave us some very specific evidence on what I think we'll see happen in the draft.
The combine is weirdly emotional for fans.
Yep, because numbers feel like certainty, and humans love clean numbers. Clean numbers feel like control.
And football is chaos.
Yeah, football is absolute chaos. It's 22 people improvising violence at high speed.
So we cling to any number that looks like it makes football simple.
Right, which is why we love single number metrics too, like approximate value, AV, this concept that tries to put one number on a player's seasonal value across all positions and eras.
Useful tool, not a religion.
Yeah. So football is too complex for one number to be the whole truth, but a number can still be useful if you treat it like a tool.
That's the combine, useful tool, dangerous idol.
Yeah. The danger is when the market turns useful evidence into destiny.
Because once the market believes something, it starts shaping reality.
Yes, it does.
Teams start asking the same questions. Media repeats the same phrasing. Agents start managing the same narrative.
And then you end up with a prospect who's been great on film, but now his entire combine week is being filtered through one measurement like it's a curse.
Which brings us to the part fans really go crazy over. Measurements.
Measurements, yes. Measurements are where the internet rolls its eyes and the NFL buildings get deadly serious.
Because measurements are about role projection, not aesthetics.
Exactly. And this year gave us a clean case study in Reuben Bain Jr.
Miami edge defender.
Yes. Bain's official measurement at the combine came in at 6'2", 263 pounds, with 30 and 7/8 inch arms and a 77 and 3/8 inch wingspan.
And arm length became the headline.
Yes, which sounds really petty and just ridiculous until you understand what it's actually about.
It's not short arms equals bad. It's short arms can change how you win and what role you can reliably play.
Exactly. Length can affect how you keep separation, how you strike first, how you control the edge, how you finish, and how you survive against long tackles.
And the historical note that mattered, if Bain stays on the edge in the NFL, that arm length would be among the shortest recorded for edges at the combine since 1999.
Which is why scouts talk about prototypes. And here's the deeper thing. This isn't just scouting, it's organizational identity.
Because teams don't agree on outliers.
Right. Some teams draft outliers because they believe coaching and usage can bend reality. Other teams draft templates because they want repeatable probability curves.
In other words, do you draft the player and build the role, or draft the role and plug the player in?
Right. That's why Bain's measurement doesn't ruin him. It just changes the conversation.
It changes the questions teams ask in meetings and private workouts.
And it changes how front offices imagine him. True edge, inside-out hybrid, maybe more interior usage.
And Bain even said teams weren't hammering him about arm length in interviews, which is also a reminder that the loudest internet story isn't always the loudest team story.
Right. Teams care, but teams care quietly, which is terrifying.
Quiet concern is the most dangerous concern.
Loud concern can be managed. Quiet concern becomes we just went a different direction.
Day number 1 was defensive line, linebackers, and kickers. And the early story was linebackers showed up like they were offended by gravity.
Yes, because modern football punishes slow second-level defenders. Spread formations force conflict. Offenses live in space, and the NFL is buying space defense like it's oxygen.
The headline name in that category was Ohio State linebacker Sonny Styles.
Yes, Styles came into the week with top of board expectations, and then he did the most combine thing possible. He turned those expectations into something measurable.
He hit that rare combo of big, fast, and explosive, and the league loves that because it reduces uncertainty.
Yep.
It's not guaranteed star, but it's hard to argue against the ceiling.
And that matters because a linebacker who moves like a smaller athlete is basically a chess piece. You can build modern pressure packages, coverage rotations, and second-level range around that.
And that's the combine at its best. It doesn't invent the story. It gives the story enforceable evidence.
Yes. And while we're here, edge testing also started cooking immediately because the NFL's favorite addiction is get off.
First step, burst. The ability to force tackles into reactive mode.
Exactly. Straight line speed doesn't equal sacks, but short area acceleration is still the trait teams treat like oxygen.
Day 2 was tight ends and defensive backs, and it honestly was a show.
Yes. Tight ends decided to make everyone uncomfortable because a 240-pound man moving like a receiver is draft catnip.
Oregon tight end Kenyon Sadiq ran a 4.39, the fastest tight end 40-yard dash since at least 2003.
Which is absurd. And he didn't just run, he jumped too. He hit 11.1 in the broad and 43.5 in the vertical.
And then Vanderbilt's Eli Stowers basically said, that's cute, and posted a 45.5-inch vertical and an 11.3 broad jump.
Yeah, so tight ends are supposed to catch and block. These guys were trying to qualify for NASA.
And the defensive backs brought their own fireworks. Ohio State safety Lorenzo Styles Jr.,
Yep.
He ran an official 4.37 seconds, fastest by a combine safety since 2003.
And I think you mean 4.27, yes?
What did I say?
4.37, but that's okay.
I said 3?
Yeah.
I think I said 4.2.
I think we have proof, so we'll just see, right?
I don't know. I think you're wrong. Moving on.
And Missouri corner...
Come on. You can do it.
Toriano?
Yep.
Toriano Pride Jr. paced the corners with a 4.32.
The point isn't fast equals good. The point is recovery speed changes coverage math.
Yep.
It changes what a coordinator can call.
And it expands the menu. And the combine is a menu expander week.
Moving on. Day 3 is the one fans treat like a holiday. Quarterbacks, wide receivers, and running backs.
And the combine crowned a speed king. Mississippi State receiver Brennan Thompson ran the fastest 40 of the entire combine at 4.26.
And then you have the next layer of the speed story. Lorenzo Styles
Right.
Jr., he ran a 4.27 the day before. And LSU receiver Xavier Thomas at 4.28.
So now the league has to ask a different question. Not, is this player perfect, but do we have an answer for that speed? Because certain numbers create anxiety, matchup anxiety.
Running backs also popped. Arkansas running back Mike Washington Jr., he ran a 4.33 at 6'1", 223 pounds, fastest among the running backs, and it paired with a 39-inch vertical and a 10.8 broad jump.
That's the kind of profile that moves someone from late flyer to real conversation.
And Notre Dame's Jeremiah Love ran at 4.36, second best among running backs, even though he didn't jump.
So, Love was already treated as a premium back in this class, and that time just put more confidence behind the projection.
Quarterbacks, this is where we have to be honest. The workout is optional. The evaluation is not.
Exactly. One of my favorite quarterbacks coming into this draft, and probably a whole bunch of people's, is Indiana quarterback Fernando Mendoza. And he didn't treat the combine throwing as a priority and pointed to his April 1st pro day. But he still framed the process like what it is, which is an extended job interview.
Meanwhile, Arkansas quarterback Taylon Green basically tried to win the combine as a tight end. He posted a 43.5 vertical, an 11.2 broad jump, and ran a 4.36, which is historically ridiculous for a quarterback.
Yes. And the important nuance here, athletic testing tells you ceiling. The throwing session tells you readiness. Both matter, but they answer very different questions.
Day number 4, closed the workouts with offensive linemen. And this is the most underrated combine day for people who like football to make sense.
Because modern offenses require big people who can move. If your tackles can't mirror, your quarterback can't breathe. If your interior can't get to landmarks, your run game becomes just a suggestion.
And the headline athlete was Arizona State tackle Max Yanachor.
Yes.
Ran a 4.91 in the 40 with a 1.73 10-yard split and a 9.7 broad jump at 321 pounds.
It's amazing his time. So that is round one body with movement evidence, and it's very hard to ignore.
Kentucky's Jacob Burton ran a 4.94 with a 1.76 split, 1.76, yep, and a 9.3 broad jump, boosting his top 100 interior case.
And Texas A&M's Chase, is it Basantis?
I believe it is.
Okay. Texas A&M's Chase Basantis ran, 5.02 and jumped 32 inches. And the reporting basically said he moved like an H-back.
But the most combine as philosophy moment was Utah's Spencer Fano.
Exactly. He had a strong workout, including a 4.9140 and strong movement, but his arms measured 32 and 1/8 inches, which is below the typical tackle standard.
And that's where the league does what it always does. It turns a measurement into a role debate. Tackle versus guard, outside versus inside, variance versus safety.
And he handled it the right way. He expressed openness to moving inside. He even took snaps at center because being draftable is about role clarity as much as it is about talent. So let me put on my agent hat. Let me put on
Chin strap secured.
Yes.
Chin strap secured.
The combine is also a professionalism test. It's the NFL asking, can you handle adult accountability and adult pressure?
Are you prepared?
Yep.
Do you communicate well? Can you take coaching? Can you answer hard questions without spiraling?
Teams will Teams will forgive a lot of athletic imperfection if they believe the person is stable, coachable, and committed. Teams will also walk away from a great athlete if the room feels like a long-term headache.
And that's why the combine's most important evidence often isn't televised.
Yeah, the cameras show the 40, but the decision makers are also weighing medicals, interviews, and whether you feel like a professional.
So the combine is over, but the process is not.
Now it's pro days, private workouts, and medical follow-ups where teams decide not really which questions, but which answers to questions they can live with.
And we promised a plug-and-play segment for anything that broke late Monday and Tuesday.
So here it is, the final combine aftershocks before we get out of here.
First, the biggest medical swing coming out of Monday and Tuesday was Caleb Downs because the degenerative ACL meniscus rumor hit the timeline and then got pushed back hard.
Yep.
His camp called it clickbait, and Pat McAfee said multiple teams told him there's nothing in the medical that would deter them.
Translation, either he's clean and somebody tried to basically litigate his draft stock downward. So welcome to draft season, where evidence exists and so do motive and opportunity.
Second, the biggest interview riser was Drew Aller. The consistent feedback wasn't rah-rah. It was the dude can actually run protections and talk concepts.
Yeah.
He said Mike McCarthy was his toughest meeting, and he liked it.
Yeah, and that's what teams want. Not a quarterback who can recite cliches, but a quarterback who can drive the car when the dashboard lights up.
Third, the biggest role projection shift was Taylon Green, where the league is now debating the shape of the player. QB only,
Yep.
QB plus package, or are teams going to ask, can your athletic ceiling live somewhere else?
And that's not disrespect. That's the NFL trying to turn rare traits into a job title.
And if we're doing a quick board snapshot, the biggest risers leaving Indy are Sonny Styles, Kenyon Sadiq, and Dylan Thieneman.
And the biggest volatility guys, the players that have like the widest range of outcomes are Carnell Tate, Spencer Fano, and Caleb Banks.
Because speed, length thresholds, and durability questions don't end careers, but they do change the price.
Yes.
That's it. Combine is over, but the draft season has officially entered the private conviction phase.
Yes. And again, that's the pro days, private workouts, and the slow drip of information that makes the internet act like it's doing CIA work. So before you go, a quick heads up. Saturday, we're launching something new, and I am so excited about it. IP 101 is our first ever course. Not a podcast, not a hot take. It's an actual step-by-step class on how to protect your name, your content, and your brand before the internet gets weird about it. If you ever thought I should probably trademark this, but I don't know where to start, that starts Saturday. Same channel, new format, way more structure because class is in session.
We'll be back soon.
Appreciate y'all. Stay smart.
Whoa.
I know. Stay smart, stay skeptical, and stop treating the 40 like a horoscope.
That's facts.
Catch you next episode. You're listening to the AAA Ball and Play podcast. Quick note, this is for education and entertainment. Nothing here is legal, tax, or financial advice, and nothing we say creates an athlete-agent relationship. Listening or contacting us does not make us your lawyers or your agents. For advice, talk to a qualified professional in your state.